Hey guys, welcome back. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to the 30-30 series where we're doing 30-minute workouts for 30 different days. So today, what we're going to do is going to do a recover workout where we're going to be core focused. So we're going to slow things down and really work some really intentional core work, things that are foundational to a lot of the ab work we do in our daily workouts. So that's what we're going to focus on in the first half. The second half is we're going to work on some mobility on just that hip and that glute. So it's going to be a nice slow and controlled workout. This is really important for our body so that we recover and we're ready to rock and roll with even more strength and stability into the next week. So all you need is a space, a mat, and of course your great attitude. Let's get this thing rocking. Okay, so hopefully you're out of your space and you're kind of ready to rock this. Okay, we're gonna do it with a really slow warm up. We're just gonna rock those hips. We're not really doing a big warm up per se, because we're just not gonna be rocking that workout quite the same way, but I just want those hips moving a little bit, rocking them back and forth. Let's go to the side and do a nice little glide. Then we'll go down to the mat for all the other activities. And then we're gonna hinge down, and we're gonna hinge back. Oh yeah, doesn't that feel good? Hinge down, glide those hamstrings, sit on back, open up those hips one more time, down and back. And this time we're gonna go right over to the side and stretch. Okay, nice good little stretch. Okay, I'm keeping my knees straight, so I'm stretching that hamstring and I'm stretching that lateral side, and we're coming back. Other side. Excuse me. Nice and controlled. One more. And then we're gonna take this and we're gonna do a nice big circle right here. Boom. And up. And then a circle the other direction. One more each direction. And then we're going down on the mat. We're gonna go lay on our side. Okay, so we're gonna come down on the mat. We're gonna go down onto our side. We're gonna put both knees together and our feet together. We're gonna do some clamshells. So my knees are slightly bent, my feet are together. I'm gonna lift my knee out and activate that glute and back down, nice, slow and controlled, and keep my feet together. Pretend like there's a wall right behind you, so you're not rolling back. You're just lifting right here and down. Are you ready? Here we go. Lift up and squeeze and down. It's slow, it's controlled, right there. Activating that glute, okay? Now, remember, our hip muscles are part of our core. That's why I used that word today. I didn't use abs, I used core, because we're working some of these deep hip muscles, okay, to strengthen them, to really give that solid foundation. Okay, I work this all the time with back patients when I'm working with them. Okay, we need a strong hip muscles. They're part of that deep core. Lift and squeeze. Kind of wear that baby out a little bit. We're gonna do an abduction next, where we're gonna lift that leg up and squeeze that glute with our knees straight, okay? So keep this. We're gonna do about 10 more seconds like this. Here we go, 3, 2, 1. This time you're gonna keep your knees straight, your foot flexed. You're gonna lift it behind you, and then we're gonna lift it up towards the ceiling. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Down and up, slow and controlled. Lifting up and squeezing and down. So it's a little bit behind you. Knee is straight, foot is flexed. Lift and squeeze, okay? Put your hand back there. Feel that glute nicely activate. Put the outside of the hand. You can feel that nicely activating and saying, oh yeah, now I know what I'm working. Not that you can't feel it, but it's just nice to have that feedback. Lift and control. It's not about speed, it's about control. When you slow it down, baby, that gets so much harder. After this, we're gonna roll to the other side and go back to those clamshells. Oh yeah. Nice and tight, nice and strong. You've got 10 more seconds like this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Switch sides, okay? Back to those clamshells. We're gonna keep those feet together. We're gonna keep those knees. We're gonna lift right up and squeeze. In 3, 2, 1. Lift up and squeeze. Remember, you feel like there's a wall right behind you, so you're not rotating back. You're just lifting and squeezing. It seems like a simple activity, but man, does it work it. These are all great activities for you to do throughout your work week, okay? They're all part of strengthening a strong core, that strong foundation. Okay, we do a lot of ab work. That's fun, but this is a foundation to even get to that work. Some people are like, well, I can't believe how well you can do this ab work. Well, it's because I'm doing this type of work a lot to make sure I have the right foundation. Lifting and squeezing. And then after this, what we're gonna do is we're gonna straighten that leg again. Lift and squeeze. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we're gonna straighten that knee, flex that foot, lift it behind, and we're lift it up towards that ceiling. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Lift and squeeze, and remember, we're doing nice and controlled. Okay, so we're really working the glute and the outside of the hip. Guess what we're gonna do next? We're gonna work the inside of the hip. Okay, we're gonna work those hip adductors. Okay, so we're gonna stay on this side because when we work the hip adductors, we're gonna work the other side. So it'll give this hip a break by staying on this side on the first round. I know, it's kind of like you have to kind of wrap that around your brain a little bit. Lift and squeeze, back down. Nice and controlled. Okay, it's not about speed. Sometimes we're doing speed, right? We do that sometimes when we're getting that heart pumping and moving, and sometimes we just slow it down for that nice, good control. 10 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, so this time we're gonna keep our inside foot, flex our knee straight. We're gonna lift up towards the ceiling and then back down. If you can, try to keep it hovered. Don't let it drop. Hover it and back up. In 3, 2, 1. We're lifting up and squeezing. Again, we're going back to that slow and controlled. That long lever arm, okay? Yes, you can use ankle weights and so forth, but a lot of times it's just do longer reps, do more control. That's what you're gonna really get some good results with. Again, these are deep hip muscles, okay? They're all part of our core foundation. Lift and squeeze. Oh yeah, let that burn, baby. Now we're gonna do the same thing for another round, except we're gonna bend that knee. Okay, so there's some hip muscles that cross over the hip and knee, and some that just cross the hip that do this action. And so by bending that knee, we're gonna target different parts of those muscle groups. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. This time we're gonna bend that knee and we're gonna lift it up towards that ceiling. Again, going back down to that hover and back up in 3, 2, 1. Lift up and squeeze. Squeeze it and down. Like I said, these are all great workouts or great activities to do, but sometimes we just don't take the time to do it. We've done a workout and we're like, you know what, I ran out of time, I need to keep moving. That's one reason why I added these in, is that we need to take these times to recover. I know sometimes it's really hard for us to be like, no, I want my heart pumping, I want feeling good. These are important workouts. These are important to really getting sustainable journey in your health by working on all of that healthy aspects of your body. So it's really good to do some of these recovery workouts and implement them. You got 15 more seconds, and then you guessed it, we get to flip sides because this is very tired. Oh yeah, here we go. And we got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Excuse me. Okay, we got the other side. We're back to that straight knee, flex foot, lifting up towards that ceiling. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, lift and down. squeeze it at the top, coming down. Again, nice and controlled. See if you can hover, and instead of dropping that, hover, and that just keeps that tension on there that entire time. Really strengthening that and working it. Lift and squeeze. Oh man, come on, you got this. We're gonna do about 15 more seconds like this, and then guess what? We'll bend that knee. Oh, baby. I don't know about you, but it's burning. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, so we're gonna bend that knee. We're lifted up towards the ceiling and then hover. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Lift up and down. Lift it up towards that ceiling. Okay, so we're gonna go to our back and do some ab part of the core work. Still doing some deep hip muscles. We're gonna do some dead bug stuff. We're gonna isolate just the arms in a dead bug, and then we're gonna combine it with our lower body, really focusing on stabilizing with that dynamic movement, really paying attention and listening to our body for that feedback. Sometimes we rush through those activities and really don't pay attention to it and miss that real core stabilization. And so we want to make sure again, today is about slowing down, really taking care of that body, making sure we're really doing some things that are important for foundational work. Whew, now that I've distracted you from this nice good burn. Oh my word, sometimes you're like, how did gravity get so heavy? We've got 8 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, we're going to our back. Okay, we're going to put our feet, our right foot up. We're going to take our right hand and we're going to lower it down and up. But I want you to press your back down into the ground. Really engage that core. Zip that up. And then I want you to lift it down and up. Here we go. Down, slow, and up. Now what I want you to do is I want you to pay attention to that core and that low back, that feedback against the mat. Okay? Don't let it arch. Keep it nice and stable. Okay, it's really easy to let that be sloppy. Find that positioning, hold that positioning, and back. Now, as you're holding that positioning and you're paying attention, we're adding another layer. You've got to breathe. Okay, this isn't functional if you don't breathe. Okay, so we're doing this, and in about 15 seconds, we're gonna add that leg, and we're gonna extend that leg out to the best of our ability, okay? So we got about 10 more seconds like this. Still paying attention to that feedback of that back. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so now we're gonna lift that leg down and up. You're paying attention again to that back, low back, and down. You wanna make it harder? Lift that left leg down and up. Oh my word. Slow and controlled. It's the same side, okay? But again, it's much harder if that left side is also up. It's easier if it's down. I need you to pay attention to the feedback of your back. Your back will tell you whether or not you're stable enough to do that activity. Okay, so pay attention. Is it arching? Is it moving a lot? Okay, one way is to stabilize with that other foot. One way is to not go as far out. Okay, listen to that body. You've got 20 more seconds like this. And when you really slow it down and control it and pay attention, it is a very challenging work. You could do all of this and have such amazing abs and core. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, so this time we're going back to just the arms with the left arm. The left leg is up. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. We're going down and up. Okay, really again, back to that feedback of that. And you're gonna notice one side might be stronger than the other, okay? So you got that nicely zipped up core. It's nice and stabilized. You're feeling that feedback. If you need to, put your hand behind there so you can get that feedback and feel it if you can't feel it through that mat. Sometimes we have too soft of a surface to give you that feedback. Drop it down and back. You want to make it challenging on the arm? Put both feet up. Oh, baby. Okay? Either direction, either way. You're going to work this, and then we're going to add that leg in there. Okay? Nice and controlled. You got about 15 more seconds like this. We're going to drop that left leg with that left arm. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we're going to lift that left leg down and drive it back up. Oh my goodness. Nice and controlled. Pay attention. Slow that down and bring it up. When you really slow it down, you're going to feel those abs shake. Okay? It is working it. These are powerful moves because you're working in very functional positions and you're like, I'm not on the back. It's the way your back is stabilized using those dynamic movements of your arm and back. This is how we work a lot in our daily activities. Okay? So, and it gives us a nice good feedback. You got about 15 more seconds like this. And then we're going to turn around and we're going to do some we are doing dead bugs. We're going to do some bird dogs. So similar type, but we're going to do some opposite arm and opposite leg stuff, okay, in quadruped. 3, 2, 1, and a rest. Woo, okay. Find your bearings. We're going to the quadruped position. Our focus is going to be that our back is nice and stable, and we're going to lift it out and in. Here's the deal, what I want you to do. I want you to make a nice good fist. I want you to flex that foot, that right foot, and flex that left wrist. What you're gonna do is you're gonna lift out, and you're gonna punch out and drive that heel out, and then slowly control that in. Out, and in. Join me when you're ready. Okay, by adding that fist and pushing through that heel, okay, we're gonna activate more of those stabilizing muscles. Okay, we're gonna work hard at pressing out and in. Oh my word, you're doing awesome, okay? Press it out. Bring it in. Okay, again, you're not letting that back move or shift. Pretend like you're balancing like a PVC pipe or broomstick on your back. There's no rocking. You're just pressing out, slow, controlled, and back in. Okay, so now how we're gonna change this up, we're gonna press out, then you're gonna take that hand, tap it to that knee, and then back out. Oh my word, slow and controlled. Don't let that back move. Are you kidding me? Woo! This is challenging when you super slow it down. Come on, nice, slow, tap, nice, slow, out and extend. You see how slow that was? Slow it down and work it. Whoo! 2 more like that. You ready? Coming in and slow and tap and out and extend. 1 more time. Bring that in and tap. Bring it out and extend and relax. Whoo! Okay, we're gonna do the other side. Okay, same idea. Okay, so you're gonna take that right fist and then you're gonna flex that left foot and we're gonna go out and extend, pressing through that heel and that wrist, and then we're gonna bring it back and down. Now, you might find one side's more challenging than the other, okay? We tend to be more stabilized in one direction. We gotta work both sides so we can focus on that. Pressing out. Slow and controlled. It's not about a lot of reps. It's about a lot of control. Press that out and extend. and bring that back in. Oh yeah. Got 10 more seconds like this, okay? Now here's the good news. We're gonna do a nice good tap. Are you ready? So we're gonna go out, extend, bring it in, nice and slow, and tap it, and then back. Oh yeah, baby. We're gonna do mobility after this, okay? So this is our last AKA work, okay? But focus and strengthen. You can do it. Oh yeah. And out. Come on, slow. In and tap it. Slow. In and out. Extend. 2 more. Slow. In. All the way in. And tap. Slow. Out. And extend 1 more time. Slow. In. All the way in and tap. Slow. All the way, extend and relax. Oh my goodness. Woo! Let's do a couple cat-cows right here. Woo, yeah. Okay, so this time we're gonna take that left foot and put it inside, and we're gonna drive that right hip flexor forward. Okay, so we're gonna drive that hip forward. Do a lot of nice, good exhaling for me. Okay, we're just stretching this hip out. Then we're gonna sit our both hands in here, and we're gonna walk it and walk it around as we open up that hip. I don't know which direction sometimes to always see you. Walk it in, and we're gonna drop that right hip down as much as we can. So we're working at opening the left hip, and we're gonna feel it in our kind of our sides and our laterals on that right hip. Oh yeah. Nice deep breaths, keep breathing. And then bring that around. Keep that knee on the floor. Keep those hands in beside. And you're gonna drop your head down. Getting that hip flexor on that right side, but you're also opening up that left hip too. Big deep breaths. Just let your body sink into these moves. And then you're gonna rock that hip all the way back, and we're gonna kind of stretch out that left side hamstring. Okay, so I've got my, as straight as I can get my left side, coming down on that right. Now some of you may be way up here, that's okay. Coming down as far as you can go. Okay, listen to your body. This is a quiet time today where we're just listening to our body, letting that work. And then we're gonna come back up, straighten that back knee. And then we're gonna lift right through here and stretch it 1 more time. Oh yeah. And then come on back. Now we got the left side. So we're gonna take that right foot forward, drive that left hip flexor forward. Oh yeah. Nice deep breaths about it. And then we're gonna come on in, slide that foot, and we're gonna rock it around. So we're dropping that hip as we open up. Okay, so we're gonna feel those laterals, and we're gonna see the other side. So that right hip's opening up, that left laterals are gonna feel it. Feels so good after a week of work on these workouts. Okay, and then we're gonna rock back over. We're gonna have both hands inside, and we're gonna drop our head. Okay, it just allows us more exaggerated movement. So I'm opening up that right hip, and I'm Really letting that hip flexor stretch out. If you're like me, the right side was much tighter than the left on this, so sometimes you get a lot more feedback on one side than the other. Okay, and then we're gonna sit on back as far as you can go. Okay, and we're gonna straighten that front knee to the best of our ability, sitting back. Again, this is gonna look different for all of us depending on where we are in mobility. Okay, and we're letting that hamstring stretch out. Nice work. And then we're gonna come on up, putting both hands in front. We're gonna straighten that front knee out, and then we're gonna lift up towards that side and over that knee. And then come on down. Let's go right here into downward dog. Press that downward dog. Lift that right leg up. Drop that knee. And then we're gonna come on in and give me a nice good pigeon. Start working that glute, opening that hip up a little bit more. And if you want to, walk that down a little bit. Kind of depends on where you're at, where your mobility is. We're all in different parts of our journey with mobility. Nice deep breaths. Listen to that body. It's okay that it is slightly uncomfortable. It shouldn't be painful, but kind of press into that. Let yourself kind of rest into that uncomfortableness. Now, come on up. Walk it around just a little bit of a twist. And then come on back. Go back into downward dog. We got the other side. Take that left leg up. Drop that knee. And then we're gonna drive that in. Oh yeah. Nice good pigeon. Go down if you want to. Nice and controlled. Nice slow. Lots of breathing through this. Okay, making sure too that you're relaxing your mouth. A lot of times you'll find yourself like your jaw is tight. Okay, as we're moving through this mobility, you want to try to open up that and let that tongue relax. Let's come on up and let's walk it around. Okay, let that really sink into like letting that whole body relax, relaxing that face. I'll find myself kind of just tense on my face and I have to be like remind myself, relax my face. Okay, and come on back. Downward dog, press those heels, ooh yeah, and then back. This time we're going to come in, we're going to sit, we're going to take our right leg over our right knee, we're going to pull that and walk that across. Oh yeah. Okay, so I got my right elbow pushing against that left knee and trying to open that up as I twist around. Again, relaxing that face and making sure we're exhaling and breathing into that twist. And then come back around. Let's switch sides. Take that right leg over that left knee. Take that left elbow. Press that right knee around as you twist around. I know this is going to look different for a lot of you. Your mobility is in a different place. Do the best you can, as much as you can, okay? It may look like you have to have your legs straight and you're twisting. That's okay, that's where you're at in your journey. I love it that you're working on it. Nice good twist, nice and relaxed. And then we're coming back together. We're gonna take those feet, we're gonna pull them together. Okay, and we're gonna lift our chest nice and tall, pulling those feet together. opening up those hips. We worked those inner thighs today, didn't we? Nice deep breath. Okay, now you're gonna take that right hand onto that right knee, and you're gonna take that left hand backwards, and we're gonna do a nice good little twist over that left shoulder. Okay, now we're gonna take that left hand onto that left knee, take our right leg back, and we're gonna look over that right shoulder. And then come back to the center. Bring those feet together again, nice and tall. Big deep breath in. Come on, we're almost there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice job. Way to work on this. I know it's not easy to sometimes slow down and just listen to that body. Way to push through that. This is going to be so great. It's going to help you really recover and get yourself ready for the next week. So make sure you drink your water and have a great day.
Hey guys, did you love that workout? Did you know this is part of a series? It's part of my 30 for 30 series, where we work out for 30 minutes for 30 days. I take you on a 5-week journey where we're working out for 6 days a week. Those 30 minutes have a warm-up, an awesome workout, and a cool down so you can get in and out in that 30-minute timeline and feel amazing. That 6th day of working out is really some focused recovery time, where maybe we're strengthening some of those small areas that really need to help stabilize our body, and working on focused mobility so we can get the most out of this amazing body that we have and be even more efficient in the gym. So join me for this 30 for 30. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you always see what's coming up next. So join me for this 30-30. Grab that playlist. Make sure you grab all the amazing workouts,